Thanks for staying with us. It's time to go to the press and see what we can lift off the press. We'll be looking at headlines from the Tribune newspaper, Daily Trust, Punch, and The Guardian if we'll have the time. So we're being joined this morning by Mr. Sola Omolayo, a public affairs analyst. Good morning and welcome to the show, Mr. Omolayo.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay.
Happy
Democracy Day to you. So, we're beginning with the Tribune newspaper, and a small headline, top right corner, is saying June 12th anniversary, Anyoku, Nwachukwu, governors, Shehu Sani, Ezekwesili, Falana, Agbakoba, others to hold tribute session at MKO's Ikeja residence. So today is June 12th, and beyond holding these sessions or tribute sessions at MKO's place, what are we learning? What are the lessons that we are taking away from June 12th celebration this year?
All right. I believe we just chose June 12th as the Democracy Day, where some activities will be pumping up to acknowledge that day, which is seen to be an election that was free and fair by the conduct of what is expected in a democratic structure. I want to believe that you check the mind of those who really have the understanding of how civil war should run. A lot of us may not want to see that day as a fair day for Nigerians, because the people who conducted the election were not the people that is accepted by the natural system of governance, which is the military. For me, at all time, I always believe the election is free, but I don't see it fair, because the issue at hand at that time is not just about the presidential election that carries Chief MKO Abiola leads now, who was ought to have been declared the winner of June 12th of the election, and the election was unknown. But I don't see it fair, because a lot of elections were also unknown even before the election of June 12, 1993. So we have other election in 1992 that was also the bulk of their position. We had them, even the one of 1983, 1984. You know, we had an election in 1984 where the president then was taken off via coup. What do you call that? What do you call that? What do you call that? So for me, if we chose May 29, if you chose June 12, you chose October 1st, doesn't make any difference for people like us. We just pray that we have a better government that will salvage the masses or the people from the, if that whichever they choose does not make any difference.
Okay, but maybe it's the same answer you will give to the fact that the National Assembly has changed the venue for the address of the president. So we would have been able to have an address as early as 7 o'clock this morning to set the pace for today's activities. But now, because of this change of venue and all that, the president has to address the nation from the National Assembly, I think. So because of that, they have moved the time for this address to later today. I don't know the exact time at this moment. I missed that a little bit. So, but they seem to have thought about some reforms. They want to make their president's address to be a compulsory thing every June 12th. They're proposing a bill like that, and then the swearing in of the president is going to be at the National Assembly complex if that bill passes through, and that is what they're looking at. So on a day like this, should we be talking about matters like that as things that are so important in our in our democracy, or what other things should we be addressing on a Democracy Day that should be a day of reflection on what our democracy is and where it is going?
You see, most of us don't even know which template we are using. Is it the template of the time of the Awolowo between 1951 to 1963? And I don't know. People are just coming up with an idea that is not a template we could say is an experience that we are taking from. We don't know. The best experience that any Nigerian between that bracket age will be talking about is the experience of 1979 to 1983. That is when you will say that a democratic structure was ever seen as an experience by the age bracket between somebody who is within the ages of 1965 to date, that you can even say you have a template to work with. So whatever anybody is building or trying to put in place ideology or bills they want to put on ground, I don't think it fits in with the African culture. We are not too far away from the attitude of the military. When you just wake up, you think you are going to get something by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. You just wake up, before you know it, before the late of the night, you just have a news that the program has been changed. No preparatory act. It's like these people don't think about the emotion of the people, culture. We have a tradition we'll be building on. The African man wakes up to see the father advise him or the mother call him at the early hour of the day to speak to him. We've been living with that culture even from the days of the military. If you have to change anything, why can't you let Nigerians know about this like 2, 3, 4, 5 days? Do you don't know the numbers of people that must have woke up to disturb their radio this morning, thinking they want to hear the word from the president, and no apology whatsoever. I know they have a program for 12 o'clock and another one for 4 o'clock. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves in this mess. It's unfortunate that you just wake up in the morning. I just know somebody by your side will be telling you, oh boy, Bill, I say the president who will talk this morning. In the afternoon, you will be, or in the evening. At times, it's touching. This is not even about political party. That is where they are for some time now. It's unfortunate. You see, it's not about Obasanjo regime was that better for us, but I could see some level of simple way of learning process that we ought to have grown from. We never find this mess. In those days, in the days of Obasanjo, you wake up, you already know by the last Saturday of the month, you are going to have a jolly discussion with the president, and you hear him talk directly. Anybody could join, even though the phone might be censored at times. Some way of chatting with people. We're having something that we thought we could say when we begin to start. It gets to my emotion this morning. So sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
Honestly.
But while we are waiting the president's speech, whether it's at noon or at any time of the day, which I keep saying it's so not good for a lot of us, because it would have set the pace, it would have set the tone for even programming on the media space. And it didn't happen anymore. We'll be waiting till 12 o'clock and just speculating what it could be, what he could say, and all that. But while we are preparing to hear that speech, Democracy Day tension, we are going to the Punch newspaper now. The leading headline is that protesters mobilize as Tinubu addresses National Assembly. The riders are saying protesters target National Assembly complex, Eagle Square, others. Security on high alert nationwide, police talk tough. And then organizers vow to rally against hardship and insecurity. So that's the leading headline on the Punch newspaper. While we are waiting to hear the president, others are mobilizing to make their voices heard about the situation in the country.
Well, I just, I don't know why today is like this. The security agents should be smart enough to manage situation for us. It should be a happy day. I don't know why they are making things this tight. I don't know why these days like this. It should be a happy day that they themselves should present themselves in a way that is more acceptable and more jolly to the system. How do you want to make, because these people will come out, they will. And the pressure you are giving to the outside world is completely different. Africa is waiting for Nigeria. And if we are like this, and it's not that this government is that highly trusted. People are building trust. People are hoping that it could be better. With all this, with those who have failed even within themselves and trying to blackmail the government, you want to allow them to have a sweet say? The security should just have alerted these people that, look, we are not saying you should not do what you want to do, but please control the system, control the crowd. While the security also will begin to work out things that will make their protest go in a smooth form, in a way that will not affect the system. So that at the end of the day, you don't begin to arrest and begin to batten people, threatening people like the days of the military. I don't know. I think somebody somewhere should just tell us, why is this day like this? It's like it's so cloudy, showing some unrealistic day that ought to be either for against, either we are celebrating and even if we are celebrating and criticizing, it should be a wrong day for each and every one of us. It should be an holiday where people will talk and we just have fun in it. We'll be having fun in our pain. Why?
Yeah, well,
I don't think
everybody chooses.
Even the days of Babangida, that is that harsh. Babangida, even if he wants to do some magic with us, he's going to fix a friendly match for today. That guy. He will fix a friendly match between Ivory Coast and Nigeria, or South Africa and Nigeria match, so that your mind is divided, even if they are going to kill some priests. Losing it.
While we celebrate June 12 today, there are also concerns about the Nigeria's Cybercrime Act, which, according to the US and UK envoys, threatens free speech and investments. What is your take on that? That same story is on another newspaper, the Guardian newspaper as well. US, Britain, Canada, others advise federal government against abusing Cybercrimes Act.
Well, you see, we have a culture. Actually, we just keep our culture and forget all these UK and US people that just run their thing. They should allow us to run our thing. There's a way we can run our government and it will be right with us. We should just think, this nation, Africa is a free talk people. They are free to talk, even in the days of the Shomugunola, the days of the great king of old. People still talk. People still talk. People still talk. Even in the days the history talked about the Ogun and the Shongos, people still talk. That's the only way you can get the good feedback from the system. Not those who you are surrounded with that are going to be pretentious of some of the activities. They tell you it is well, when not it's done well. This cybercrime thing, I think it should be on fraud, not about people just talking and you go pick them up because they say their mind. I beg. I understand the fact that if we are honest to ourselves, Nigeria is one of the greatest nations where you have a lot of opposition and they are free to act, not like other nations. You get? Because the same Canada you talk about or America you talk about, you can't talk of one strong activist that is well and alive. They eliminate them on time. Even in you can't mention a name of any activists. You see that person is directly working with government, not even in the Arab world. So let's celebrate some part of it in this part of the world. But we are Africans. They should allow people to talk. And if anything goes, if you notice that the person is of high influence and it could bring in some damages, you can always go and invite him and you don't fly this thing up to create threat to the system. That's why people begin to think otherwise, that it's like the government is having something hidden that they don't want us to see or they don't want us to talk about. Yeah, that's what I see.
Yeah, well, it should never come to that. It should never come to a point where people will be hunted down because they made some comments, whether they are true or not. Like we just had a case in Kenya that somebody posted something about a police chieftain, and he was abducted from his house. They took him to the cell. They killed him in the cell, and now gave the public the information that this person hit his head against the wall and died. It was very, very funny, the kind of excuse they gave, but the coroner now brought another information that he was strangulated while in custody. So it should never get to a point where when you speak your mind, like you said, you get picked up and then you get some kind of treatment that might even lead to your loss of life. But now, still on the Guardian newspaper, Fashoranti advocates Nigeria's return to 1963 constitution. You were just talking about the 1963 constitution that, or the 1951 to 63, where the Awolowo era was, whether that is what we're operating on, or whether it is the 79 to 84 era that we are copying and all that. So this is the advocate of the Afenifere chieftain, Pa Fashoranti, who has said that the 1963 constitution will do us better. Let's return to that. I mean, if we can return to our national anthem of the 60s, why not? That's what he's advocating. What do you think about it?
Well, for me, is it the old or the renewed old that we are singing now? I don't really see anything so important in it. We're talking of our motherland when it's supposed to be our fatherland. The woman that gave room for that national anthem was building that national anthem because she's in a foreign land. She's in Nigeria. Let the scholar talk about that. But about the 63 constitution, I also let you know that event has taken over that constitution now. We can only use some of the material in it. That's why Nigerians need to discuss how this system should go. You know, in 1995, the person of late Sani Abacha, they also sat down in this country and promulgated a constitution that we are using part of it that came into 1999. That 1995 constitution is where we begin to barricade and rebuild the structure of Nigeria, where we now work on the 6 zones of the nation. That's 1995 Abacha constitution was where the 6th zone was carved out. So how would you put that together? If you want to, how do you compress some of those constitution if you choose to go to 1963 constitution? A lot of event has taken over. How many states do we have at the time of 1963 constitution they are talking about? We've jumped from there to 12 states. From 12 states, we enter into 19 states. 19 states, I think we creep into, is it 26, 31, and 30, 31, and now we know what we're having about 36 states. So that constitution cannot work in. We can only use some of the material to rebuild whatever constitution we need to be talking about. Knowing fully well that the one we're using now, obviously established, is the 1999 constitution that was given to us by the military. That's why I say, I don't know which template we're using in this part of the world, Nigeria.
Yeah, well, maybe like you said, some parts of the 1963 constitution are the important ones that he wants us to go and get, because maybe that time the system of government that we had was not the same that we started having maybe from the era of Shagari in 1979 that you just mentioned now. After that, he was ousted by a coup of, was it Buhari or so, and then things just began happening fast until we got to 1999. So maybe we need some aspects that at least give the federating units the autonomy that they could operate the way they should operate. Now our constitution gives too much power to the center, and it is bringing a lot of problems to us. So maybe that's why he's saying this. But if we can take things from the Abacha constitution, from all other constitutions, why not extract the things that may work for us from the 1963 constitution? I think that is what he means by that call.
Yeah, I understand why that, but if you don't begin to discuss this and analyze it very well, people might just report the news of the elder statesman, and it's better. Even the elder statesman, men in general, I think their women should understand that when they are making pronouncement, they should make it so clear so that the system, the government of the day, will really know what they're challenging. Look at the local government autonomy that they've been fighting all this while. With the court declaration, the Supreme Court declaration, what do you see? Show me how many governors, how many states had allowed the local government to register, have their registration done with the CBN, so that the money coming from the center can go to them. How many? But you remember when Obasanjo did what he did by withholding the money of Lagos State, heaven was coming down on that government then. But now here we have a system where even the government themselves took this case to court, and the Supreme Court has made a declaration that the local government should all be free. They should be given their autonomy and power to operate. Ever since then, what did you see? Nobody, not even any of the activities coming out to fight for these people. None. Even the opposition party, the people who call themselves ceremonial opposition party, the Labour Party, the PDP, what have they been doing? These are areas they need to have stood up to fight and defend, so that people will really know they are fighting for somebody, for something. What are they talking about? Coalition and 2027.
Well, let's end on a funny, embarrassing, and annoying note. Well, all rolled into one. Depends on how you look at it, but it's not okay. So Air Peace and Oshimole bicker over unruly behavior at Lagos Airport. There was this report yesterday that the airport terminal, one of them, was shut down because one senator, a former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshimole, was denied entry more or less because he missed his flight, and he said that the flight should have delayed to wait for him as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Remember an incident where an Uber driver was assaulted by one of the National Assembly members, and he said that he can do anything he likes and nobody will say anything. So it now becomes a question of whether we are in danger at the hands of the people we have sent to the National Assembly to represent us. If Oshimole can do this, someone who has been a governor, who is a sitting senator and all that, he should have known better. But he missed his flight, and he wanted everybody to suffer because he missed his flight. So I don't know what you can comment on the arrogance of the National Assembly members and what Nigerians should do to hold them in check.
You love Fela music, or you just like it?
Fela is the man.
Do you love the music, or you just like the music?
I love his courage.
There's an answer to that. VIP, very important person. VIP, very important. Now listen to that song very well. You get the answers of the activities that you see around. This is not new, just that it is coming out, but fine. It happens. And not only in Nigeria. This thing doesn't happen just only in Nigeria. It happens all over. All over. It happens. If you check deep, you go deep and read and go deep about the 9/11 in America. And when all cream were grounded, one cream left, one cream from a group of family left America that very big. If you are big, you are big. That one is just an event that was captured. It happens every day. Don't bother yourself. It happens.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't like a situation where I would send someone to the National Assembly and it becomes an incubus. You know, a spirit that will cover me and make me not to say anything and not be able to move. I would want my representative to show workings and to show example, but our representatives don't seem to be working and showing example.
You are talking about you don't want to send anybody to the National Assembly. You asked that question when they were campaigning. Do you create an avenue to challenge them for questioning? Do you? When I mean you, I'm talking about the system. We just celebrate them. I said we are the one that celebrate criminals in this part of the world. Why would you be clapping out for somebody who's going to do your job on your behalf? You don't clap out for your gatesman. You don't clap out for that bricklayer that's coming to work in your house. These are people who seek for job. You celebrate them in your family. You'll be telling your friend, "Oh, but I hear say your brother don't become a member of the House of Assembly. Now done better." What are you saying? Somebody who just become a councillor, you are congratulating the wife. Congratulations, yes, your husband win the election. Now done better. What are you saying? We are the one that allow these people to accord themselves such a power. We are. Somebody is going to House of Assembly telling you he's going to provide, he's going to build road. Is that the work of the man going to the assembly?
Well, like Sonindeji says, now we they carry our hand, kill ourselves, not be Oyibo. That's what Sonindeji said. So we are the ones who are destroying ourselves. But like I said, let them represent us, and that is the main thing. Well, this is how much we can go, Mr. Omolayo, this morning. We'd like to thank you for your time today, and happy Democracy Day to you.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm so sorry for that.
It's all right. It's all right. We understand. We've been talking with Mr. Sola Omolayo, a public affairs analyst. We were looking at some of the headlines that made it to the front pages of some of our national dailies. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be looking at Democracy Day as it is. What are the reflections we can get from 1999 till now, especially in this present administration? What are the gains, the gaps, and the road ahead for Nigeria? Stay with us.